What's up everyone, it's Witter's World here again with another video. So I want to talk about Shericka Jackson, right? I've seen a video with Shericka Jackson, doing her little training and warming up. I didn't see her do any form of explosive movement, any form of explosive sprinting. However, based on her body, she seems as if she's way leaner. She looks in shape. Body fat percentage look, like she's in a low body fat percentage range. So it's a good look. It's a good look, being that we haven't seen much of her this season. But one thing I can say for sure, she looks injury free this season. And seeing those videos of her warming up and exercising, and the fact that she looks leaner, shows that she is in shape, and she can end up on the podium. I'm not going to push it and say she's possibly gonna win or anything like that, but this gave me more confidence to say that it's quite possible that Shericka will be on that podium. She will finish in that top 3. Now, in regards to her winning, I've seen people say that Steve Francis is the best coach, and Steve Francis might have something up his sleeve. I'm kind of tired of that statement. He is a great coach. He's arguably the best in the world, but to say he has something up his sleeve and blah blah blah, people always say that, right? Because the last time they said the same thing, and he did have something up his sleeve, which was the fact that something was wrong, and he was just not telling the public. So I'm not going to be one of those guys to just blindly believe in Franno, right? But I do believe that she can do something great. She can definitely be on that podium, and I'm just glad that she is not injured. She looks fit, she looks healthy, which is a great thing. And a healthy Shericka, as we know it, is a dangerous Shericka. So I know that based on what I'm seeing right now, what I've seen yesterday, that Shericka Jackson is in good shape. She definitely is gonna run below 22 seconds, and so I believe that will be enough to put her on the podium. You know what I'm saying? A 21.8, 21.7 can definitely finish in the top 3. So that is good enough for me. If all Shericka do is finish on the podium, get at least a bronze medal, that is good enough for me. If she wins that 200 meter, that will be a surprise for me, because as I said, Melissa and Julien has been performing extraordinarily from the beginning of the season, and so I believe that those two will be up there battling it out. And so if Shericka does win this one, trust me, I personally will be very, very shocked, right? And will now say, wow, Steve Francis does always have something special up his sleeve. But to win that 200 meter is not an easy feat, because Melissa and Julien is on top form for that 200 meter. Matter of fact, I believe Julien is going to blow them away in that 200 meters. Julien Alfred is going to blow them away in that 200 meter. That is what I believe. That is what I think, because Julien Alfred from early season was running 21.7. So I believe that she's in tip top shape, in top form, and she's going to demolish them in that 200 meters. So let us see if Shericka can come and upset the two favorites for that 200 meters. you know, because as I said, she looks in shape, you know, her body fat percentage is low, and she looks super ready, right? It's just an amazing thing to see. And as it relates to her medaling in that 100 meter, I think it's also quite possible that she will medal. She can get that bronze also, you know, but it's going to be a tough one for the 100 meters too, because we know we have Athena Clayton that's in great shape also. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough 100 meter for that. So let us watch and see, guys. You know, it's getting closer and closer. We've seen the lineups in the heats. We have Shelley and Fraser in a pretty decent heat, with Talu. So I believe Shelley and Fraser, you know, you just need to make the top two for the heat. So Shelley doesn't need to run hard. You know, Talu always runs hard in the heat. Shelley doesn't need to run hard. She just need to take it easy, get that second place to get that automatic qualifier for the semi-final, right? So, you know, people are complaining that, you know, the heats are tough and whatnot, but I believe the athletes train for this, so they are ready for this, and we should not be worried, and we should just wish them all the best and keep watching and supporting them. You know what I mean? So let's see what people are saying, that Steve Francis has something special up his sleeve. Let's see what Steve Francis has up his sleeve for these championships. Will his athletes upset the favorites? Will his athletes come out on top? Will his athletes finish with the gold medal? Because people keep on saying, you know, Franno. And I know that people really and truly believe, you know, in the greatness of Franno, and nothing is wrong with that. But what could Franno do now? You know what I'm saying? What could Franno do now to upset the Melissas and the Julien? What could Franno do right now? You know what I'm saying? To win gold medals in the females 100 and 200. What could he do now? What could he change in the program now? Let's see, because those Julien and Melissa is way ahead of the pack. And so if Coach Franno pulls something off now, that would be crazy, because Julien, Alfred and Melissa is way in front of the pack. They are in a race. They are in a race. These flies, they are in a race, or in a category, or in a league by themselves at the moment right now. No cap. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. I'm out.